Hi, my name is Meera Shah. I am a speech language pathologist and a counselor. I've had the privilege of working closely with autistic children and their families for several years now. Today, I want to share some insights from both my research and my clinical experience on how simple, predictable home routines can make a profound difference in the communication journey of autistic children. Let's begin with something fundamental. All children thrive in predictable environments. But for autistic children, predictability is not just a comfort, it's a necessity. It creates clarity in the world that can often feel overwhelming, disorganized, or chaotic to them. When we provide structure, we reduce uncertainty. And when we reduce uncertainty, we open the doors to learning, language, and connection. Let's understand the science behind this. From a neurological perspective, autistic children often process information in unique ways. Their executive functioning, that is the set of mental skills that help us manage our lives, such as managing time, planning, shifting attention, flexible thinking, emotional regulation, task initiation and completion, is often impacted. This is because the brain networks responsible for executive functioning, particularly the prefrontal cortex and its connection to other regions like parietal lobe and the basal ganglia, may develop and communicate differently in autism. Differences in connectivity and the processing speed can make it harder to adapt to changes, switch between tasks, or filter out unnecessary sensory inputs. As a result, transitions, unpredictability, or sensory overload can quickly lead to stress or withdrawal. Let's understand what helps mitigate that. A well-structured, well-explained, visually supported routine. Routines reduce the cognitive burden. They help the brain anticipate what's next. They give the child control over their environment, and that in turn improves their emotional regulation. As a therapist, I've seen children go from non-verbal and resistant to responsive and interactive simply because their day started making sense to them. Not with long explanations, but with visual cues, rhythms, and repetition. Now let's talk about language. Contrary to popular belief, speech therapy is not limited to therapy rooms. The best speech and language stimulation happens in the home while brushing teeth, during bath time, at the breakfast table, and on a walk. That is because autistic children learn language best when it is tied to real life context and repetition. That is why I strongly advocate using home routines as the foundation for language development. When I help parents build their schedule at home, I encourage a balance of 4 types of activity every day. The activities in these categories might be overlapping. That's okay. It is just a reference with which you can plan your daily activities. So first being life skill activities, that is normal routine like brushing, dressing, cooking, or sorting laundry. Other category being language activities, that is self-talk and parallel talk. In that, parents, when they are playing with the child, they narrate whatever they are doing, they narrate whatever their child is doing or feeling, and also reading, singing. Next category is social activities. Here we can include games which have turn-taking as a part of it, or engage in things that have shared attention. They have a common thing and they are playing and talking about it. Next category being academic activities, that is puzzles, matching games, pre-literacy tasks. If you want to know more about how to engage better with your child while doing different activities, please check this video in which we have talked about this in great details. Remember, it's not about overloading your child's day, it's about embedding communication into everyday moments. For example, breakfast isn't just about food. It's an opportunity to name objects, describe textures, talk about choices. Even something as simple as, oh, the toast, it's hot. It smells fresh and nice. I'm spreading the butter, it's smooth. It's crunchy. This in itself can be a complete speech lesson. Another thing to remember is that many autistic children experience anxiety when they are being constantly asked questions. But when we model language through observation and description, we reduce that pressure and increase their exposure to rich, meaningful vocabulary. For example, instead of saying, "What color is that?" you might say, "Oh, that's a red car. It's shiny. It's zooming fast. Now it's going under the bridge. The wheels are spinning." Based on your child's language level, you can keep the descriptions short and long, and on a routine, consistent basis, keep on describing things. You can throw a question here and there, but without the pressure that the child has to respond. If the child responds, well and good. If not, keep the descriptions on. One of the most effective tools we use is visual schedule. Since many autistic children are strong visual learners, a schedule with photos or icons allow them to understand what's coming next. When planning a day with a visual schedule, arrange activities in logical order, alternating between high energy and calming tasks. Include clear start and the finish point for each activity, and allow predictable time slots for meals, sensory breaks, and rest. This not only helps in organizing the day, but also supports task initiation and completion, reducing the frustration and improving cooperation. Another thing that can be very helpful if your child has specific tantrums, for example, if the child gets very cranky immediately after getting up and he just wants a snack, then we can use first then boards. For example, we can have pictures like first you brush your teeth, then you get your snack. This sets expectations in a calm, clear, visual format, and it works remarkably well when we use it consistently. While structure is important, so is flexibility. Keep in mind to include these things in your schedule. 1. Buffer time between activities to prevent rushing. Sensory breaks for regulation as a downtime. Choice making opportunities. For example, these are the 3 activities we have today. Which one you want to start with? So by this, the child feels ownership over the part of their day. This balances between their routine and it also gives them some feeling of autonomy, which is very important for emotional resilience, and it prepares the child to handle small changes without distress. When we implement all this, we begin to see changes in these important areas, that is, stronger understanding of their daily task, more spontaneous communications, better engagement during the playtime, and most importantly, fewer meltdowns during the transitions. I have witnessed children who wouldn't respond to their name. They begin initiating conversations with their parents more so, simply because their day started to make more sense. They were no longer overwhelmed, they were empowered. To all parents listening, start simple. Begin with a morning routine or a bedtime sequence. Use visuals, use repetitions, use your voice as a gentle narrator, not a quiz master. Remember to observe and describe, and above all, stay consistent. Do not forget to celebrate small wins. Every new word, every new gesture, every shared glance is a milestone. In my experience, the most powerful speech therapy tool isn't restricted in the clinic. It's the rhythm of the home life. It's the bedtime story, the walk to the park, the moment you pause and wait for your child's gaze. These routines build communication and these moments build connections. Thank you for letting me share what I've learned from so many incredible children and their families. I hope this gives you not just information but faith, because with the right environment, every child finds their voice. This is Meera Shah. Stay tuned until next time.